Can't wait for the post-game show angle.
What's up, everybody? It's Cale Berger of 93.7 The Fan. This is Shooting the Stick, presented by Leon's Billiards and More, located conveniently Route 19 in Wexford, and we're joined by the legend, Jim Colony, this week. Jimbo?
Which end of the stick do you use?
Oh, yeah. It's always the same shtick every time we have a guest on here.
Is it that everybody else does the same thing?
It's great to see you.
Nice to see you too.
How are you at pool?
I used to be good. That's like my MO for everything. I used to be famous. I used to be good. I used to be, whatever.
Well, you're still famous. Let's see if you still got it.
I don't know about that. I probably missed the freaking ball. I scratched off the break. Do you call them stripes and solids?
I do.
It's high and low. I mean, if you're high and low, stripes and solids is for amateurs.
Maybe back in New Hampshire.
No, it's not stripes. Oh, come on. It's high and low.
Jim, I think the first thing on everyone's mind is pretty obvious. How's retirement treating you? What are you doing spending your time?
Playing a lot of golf. We've had the good fortune to play a few times.
We have.
I'm not exactly sure. I never took physics ever. I'm not sure what the law of diminishing returns is. That sounds like a physics thing. The more I play, the worse I get, which is terrible. I miss certain aspects of it, like, seeing you guys and stuff. But I don't miss going to the games all that much, or watching things like the Penguins give up 3-goal leads. This is not going well for me.
I've had so many defeats, Jim, that now I'm at a point where I'm not taking any prisoners. Okay. He's a very polarizing figure right now, but tell me how you're able to strike up such a great relationship with Antonio Brown with his time as a Steeler.
It really basically stems from his rookie year, when he and Emmanuel Sanders were drafted the same year, and Sanders was actually the third round pick, and AB. Anyway, Emmanuel started doing stuff with the station. I remember he came in right away. He was the first guy to sign, came in and started doing stuff with us. But anyway, so I would talk to him a lot out of training camp. And then AB was just kind of like a guy, and yet I just ended up talking to him. The famous thing is, and I don't know if it was their rookie year or not. I think it might have been, because at that point Hines Ward was old money, or they were the young money family. It was Wallace, Sanders, and Brown. But AB was like an afterthought, and Mike Wallace was fast money. Emmanuel Sanders was young money. And then AB comes rolling over into the interview. When I was talking to Wallace and Sanders, and they were talking, and Ben walked by, he was big money. And so all of a sudden, Antonio comes up and he goes, I said something like, Antonio, who are you? He goes, I'm Turk. Soon, I'm locked up. As soon as I get out, it's on. And the thing is that he was absolutely right. Yeah. No, as soon as all of a sudden, I think he made that play his rookie year in the playoffs, which a catch against Baltimore in an important situation. It was like the first big thing that he done, and then next year it progressed, and then after that, it became history really, where Wallace turned down a contract and AB signed one, and then he became. There was a stretch for 3 years. He was the best receiver in the NFL. That wasn't bad. I thought, quite honestly. I thought that called for the behind the back.
You know what? And maybe that's a knock on our creativity. Jimbo, your Panther call-in shows were the stuff of legend. Do you have a particular memory or moment that really sticks out to you?
It was one of the Ohio State debacles, and they were on the road, because I remember I was not at the game. I was at the radio station. And I think it ended up being like 76-0, something like that. They were reaching a new low under Johnny Majors, his second go-around, and this game was just a disaster. And so in the studio, there's an inside number. The lines blink, and there's another line that blinks, and that's not for the list. It's not the listener line. It's like an inside line that we have. And so the inside line rings, and I see the producer picks it up. I'm going to say it was Eartha, and picks it up. Yeah, and she goes, Jim, it's for you. So I'm wondering who it is, and so I'm like, yeah, and I thought it might be a boss to say like, make sure you're not too negative here after this game, something along those lines. Instead, it was Doug Hirth, the legendary Doug, who really was a legend. And all he did was, I go, hello, he goes, ha, 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 ha. He goes, can't wait for the post-game show angle. And all he did was just laughing. Worst shot I've had all day. That was a good shot by you.
Jim, how did you start jogging with Bill Cowher at Steelers training camp?
So I got, I worked with him pretty closely and stuff. Our kids are about the same age. And so after practice, he there's a little thing, and I kind of went over and started talking to him, and he's lacing up some running shoes. And then we're talking about, this and that and the other thing, just kind of catching up. And then he starts running. And he goes, if you want to continue this conversation, he goes, you better, he goes, come on. So I had fallen out of shape at the time, and so I started trying to keep up with him. And it actually felt pretty good. You can put in 3 miles pretty quickly without knowing it. And that's about what he did. I gave up after, I think, 4 laps around the field. I'm like, I had enough, but I felt pretty good, and I said, I'm going to keep doing this. So I just did. That's basically it. Long before your days here in Pittsburgh, you were, of course, back home in New England, covering the Boston Celtics, Larry Bird years. Right. Do you have a specific memory or moment that really sticks out from your time there? Colleges have halftime promotions. Maybe you've seen one where you have 30 seconds to make a layup, a free throw, top of the key, and then a half-court shot. And if you made that, you got whatever. So the next day at Celtics practice, Bob Ryan, we were talking about it, and Larry Bird happened to overhear it. And so he said, what'd you guys have to do? And Bob explained it to him. And so Bird, practice is over, right? He's like the last guy in the court. And he says, he goes, okay, he goes, time me. All right, so he goes out there, and say go. So Larry makes the layup, goes free throw line, makes free throw, gets the top of the key, makes top of the key, goes, retrieves the ball. He goes to the other, he didn't go back to the same shot. He just picked it up, went out to half court, boom, like this, and then turned his back and ran to the locker room. Swish. And he just wow. Like that was as impressive as anything I ever saw him do during a game. Oh, he was bad. Leave. Or maybe.
Oh my.
Oh. I thought that was. I thought I had that.
I go right there.
This should be a gimme, but.
Should be.
No, I can see it. It's gonna hit here.
Yeah.
It's gonna rattle out.
Yeah.
Or not.
Oh my God! No, don't do it.
See, to me, that's a fitting way for the game to end. I scratched at the beginning, and you scratched at the end.
I can't believe this continues to happen. I'm not gonna say you fought hard.
No, it's a tie.
It's a tie?
It's a tie.
I'll add a tie to my record.
I say, like in The Simpsons, what was it? I say we're equally good. Let's call it a draw, man. Although in this instance, I say we're equally bad. Let's call it a draw.
I will happily have a draw added to my record.
I suck at pool. I need more practice.
And I suck too. We'll see you next time on Shooting the Stick, presented by Leon's Billiards and More.